Hello everyone. So today I'm going to show you how an approval process is created in Salesforce. The Salesforce provides an automated process that an organization can use to approve records. The records can be an opportunity, contact, account, lead, or even a campaign. So what exactly is an approval process? An approval process is a combination of steps for a record to be approved by some users. So this here is my record. I have used opportunity as my record, and I'm going to use these fields to collect details on the manufacturing of cardboard boxes. The opportunity object will be used to get our sales orders, and we need to get approvals from managers and CEOs before we start the production. And that is why we are going to use an approval process. Let me show you how an approval process works. An approval process requires an entry criteria to begin, and I have set my entry criteria to proposal and price quote stage. Now, I'm going to mark the qualification stage as complete. So once the stage has been changed to proposal price quote stage, I'm going to submit it for approval. Let's say please approve in the comments and give submit. So once the opportunity has been submitted for approval, I get an email alert saying that the proposal has been submitted for approval. Your email alert can include as many fields that you require. You can customize it as per your requirement. Moving forward, I'm going to approve this record using the page layout. So this page layout can be customized when you create an approval process. The page layout allows you to choose the fields that you want the users to view when they are approving the record. Now I'm going to approve this step and say approved and give approve option. So once the step has been approved, going back to the opportunity, I'm going to approve on behalf of the other users since I am the system admin. Once the approval process has been completed, I get another email alert that says that the opportunity submitted has been approved. So this is how an approval process works. Let me go on and show you what an approval process looks like. Now, this is my approval process here. First, we give in the name of the approval process. Then we specify the entry criteria for the approval process to begin. Then you can assign an email template for your approval process. This email template will notify the users that an approval process has been started, or you can specify that the record has been submitted for approval. There are 4 parts to an approval process. The first one is the initial submission actions. The initial submission actions are the actions that you want to perform before the approval process has begun. Here you can specify an field alert or email alert, or you can even specify a task. By default, the record log is an action, and this logs the record from being edited. Next is the approval steps. Like I mentioned, an approval process is a combination of steps for a record to be approved by some users. So these are the combination of steps that we are going to use to approve a record, which is an opportunity, by some users assigned. Third one is the final approval actions. The final approval actions are the actions that you want to perform once the approval process has been completed or approved. Final approval actions can include a task, email alert, field update, and so on. The final rejection action allows you to perform actions once the opportunity, let's say your record, has been rejected. So this is how an approval process looks. Let's go ahead and create a new approval process. The approval process can be created for as many components or objects that you require. And an approval process can be created in two ways. One using the Jumpstart wizard and the second one using the standard step-up wizard. We are going to use the standard step-up wizard to create a new one. Let's specify a name as the approval process 1. Going to the next step. Here I am going to specify the entry criteria for the approval process to begin. I am going to set stage as my entry criteria equals the proposal price quote, insert. Let's go to next. This step is to specify approver field and the record editability properties. We are not going to change anything, so let's go by default. The fourth step is to select the notification templates. Here you can assign an email template which can be created in the classic email template option. This option you can find it under setup, quick find. When you type classic email template in the quick find box, you can reach the option. I'm going to choose submit approval and then move on to the next. This is the approval page layout that I showed you before. By default, the opportunity name and opportunity owner are always present in the layout. Here, you can add as many fields that you want to display in the approval page layout. I'm going to add the box measurements, total revenue, and maybe the account name. Let's go to next. Here we specify the initial submitters and we want the default initial submitters to be only opportunity owners. So we are going to leave this as it is and save our approval process. Let's say I will do this later and go back to the approval process. So here is our approval process. We have a name, we have an entry criteria, we also have an email template here. We'll start with new approval steps. I'm going to say product manager and go to next. In this step, you have two options. One is to allow all the records to enter the step, and the second option is to specify or filter the records which should enter this step. So let's say I'm going to choose total revenue to be greater than 950, and I can also add the box type equals, let's say, quoted craft, and insert. You can add you can filter the logic here. It's in the AND option. You can choose it to be AND, otherwise OR, and then move on to the next step. Here you get to let the submitter choose the approver, or you can automatically assign it to the approver. In the second option, you have two other options. One is to let a user approve, and the second one is to let a related user approve. I'm going to choose the related user and specify it to opportunity owner. So when we have multiple approvers here, we have two more options. One is to let any one of them approve the whole step, or asking both the approvers or as many numbers we have to approve before we go ahead. Save. We'll do this later and go back to the approval process. So this here is our first step. I'm going to add another step. Let's say Program Manager. Go to next. And then specify it to be total revenue greater than, let's say, 1,500, and go to next and assign a particular user this option. Save. So similarly, you can add as many steps as per your requirement. When you create a new approval step, there are 3 windows that you go through. First one is specifies the name and description. The second one is for the entry criteria. This entry criteria is for the step. You have another option that says formula evaluates to true. You can use this when you want to use other function logic for your step criteria. Now I'm going to choose all records and go to the next and assign it to another user. Add another user and say require unanimous approval and save. Moving on to the third action, that is the final approval actions. I'm going to add a field update. You can say stage update. Field to update will be stage, and you can specify which stage to move to. I'm going to choose negotiation and review. You can choose one of these options too if you require. And let's say save. So here I have a field update. I can even add an email alert once the approval process has been approved. And then I'm going to choose an email template which I had before created as approved here. And I'm going to save this. Let's add in the users and save. So we have an email alert now. Moving on to the final rejection actions, which is the fourth one. I'm going to add just an email alert to this one and say approval process rejected. And select the email template from the one I've created before. And save it up. So now we have our approval process ready. We went through the creating the name, giving the entry criteria, assigning an email template, and through various actions here. One last thing before we finish, or you can customize your approval page layout here and then save accordingly.
Thank you for watching.